Should I call Johnny? What else to do? Alone on a Saturday night? Well, let me tell you one rule I always live by. Cassie, you're always right.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. You know, that reminded me a little bit, the start of that Sir Mix-a-Lot song, I Like Big Butts. Hey, Becky. Remember, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're a millennial. You're a little younger than I am. You don't remember Sir Mix-a-Lot?
What? I like big butts.
And I cannot lie.
I would like to be truthful about that.
Yeah. Do you know the beginning of that song?
Yes.
It looks like one of those rap guys, girlfriends. So that's what that song reminded me of. A little bit of chit-chat before the little different genre of music.
See, to me, it reminded me of the start of a Quentin Tarantino movie. Mm-hmm. And I prefer my rendition over yours.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Number to call, by the way, if you want to be a part of the conversation here, 257-5396. We're talking a little bit about these edibles. There might be a possibility of edible restaurants coming your way to Las Vegas. They're going to be getting it going in California. What do you think about that? Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Melissa, you've been waiting patiently on hold. How are you?
What's up, Melissa?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I actually just wanted to ask, did you guys know by any chance what your dosage was of your edible?
Did I know what my dosage was? Well, obviously not, because I drank the whole thing because I'm an idiot, and I was hallucinating in my apartment. The room was dizzy, and to be honest with you, when I woke up the next day, I was sick to my stomach. I didn't eat for most of the day, and I was scared beyond belief, and that's why I haven't done an edible since.
No, I had no clue. Mine was a triangular rock candy.
We think he did crack cocaine, Melissa. That's what we think.
And I'm fairly certain that it was not crack cocaine.
Yeah. Do you work?
I'm also very certain that the dosage was far too high.
Yeah. Well, clearly the dosage was too high for both of us, Melissa. Do you work at one of these establishments?
Yeah, I run or own a collective in California, and that's why I asked, because I get a lot of patients all the time that have that problem that you never want to try an edible again, and I recommend asking questions, and also the owners really need to explain the dosaging. 10 milligrams is what everybody should start off as.
10 milligrams.
If you haven't done it before. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, 10 milligrams. So if I start, here's my issue with this, and I've tried it. Okay, it doesn't do a lot of good for me. It doesn't. It makes me tired. I've smoked a few times in the past, and I know that, marijuana does something different for everyone. I get that, but it doesn't seem to do a lot for me. So what would you say to somebody like myself who's tried it and says, doesn't really relax me, doesn't really do anything for me except maybe make me a little hungry and want to eat some onion rings?
Right. Well, there's a million different strains. Well, not a million, but there's tons of different strains that have different effects on people, and your body chemistry everybody's body chemistry is different as well. So I would just recommend trying different strains and asking your bud tender, okay, whatever ailment you have, what is a strain that would help me with this particular ailment? And usually, the bud tenders out here at least are pretty informative, and just depending on the dispensary you go to, and they'll tell you, okay, this helps with sleeping. Or if you're anxious, you have anxiety, this will help for anxiety and whatnot. So
fair enough.
That's what I would recommend.
Melissa, are there any strains that can give you energy? And also, why do you call it a collective?
Oh, yes. There are strains that do give you energy. It's a sativa-dominant strains that give you more of the head high versus the body high. So it won't make you lethargic or whatever, and it can help you throughout the day.
Okay.
You can even work on it.
If a woman is high, does that mean I look more attractive to them?
I'm sorry?
If a woman is high, does that mean that I would look more attractive to them? Because the rumor has it if a woman is buzzed or drunk, a guy has a better chance of maybe hooking up with her or getting her number. Is that the same case with marijuana? Do I look like Brad Pitt to someone who is extremely high?
He wants to know if there's a thing as weed goggles.
Yes.
Well, I'm high all the time, but I think I'm a little picky with who I like and who's attractive. And I think you're attractive, JD. and Brian.
No. She thinks you're attractive, JD. She certainly does not think I'm attractive.
She said
Brian.
She said and Brian.
Fair enough. No, but that's a serious question, though. I mean, a lot of guys say, "Hey, let me buy you a few drinks. Maybe I got a chance with you." It's sadly sad but true. Does the same thing apply to marijuana?
I think it helps women be less mean, and men. It makes you.
I am all for
open up
that.
and-
What do you think? What do you think Donald Trump would act like if he was high?
Oh, I would love for him to be high. I think the world would be a better place if that guy had a little marijuana in him, to be honest.
I actually tend to agree with you on that.
Do you think that his tweets would have emojis at the end of them?
Probably. Yeah, all food emojis.
Fair enough. Well, Melissa, I am very thankful that you called in. Thank you very much, and we hope you can call again whenever this topic arises. We hope that you come and help us out here because you're very knowledgeable with this stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot, Melissa.
Thanks for calling in. That was a very knowledgeable caller. You see that, folks? If somebody is high, I might have more of a chance. Similar in a way to alcohol. Isn't it sad in our society that idiots like me say, "Oh man, maybe I got a chance with this girl. Maybe she'll go on a date with me, and maybe I got a chance to kiss her goodnight if I put a couple drinks in her or I give her a doobie."
I actually believe that's a crime.
Is it a crime?
I'm fairly certain that
No,
is a
it's not.
crime.
No, it's not. No, I'm talking about. Listen, I'm not talking about sexual relations. I'm
Okay.
not talking about taking her home. I'm talking about. Maybe just get someone a little more relaxed.
Just being cognizant of the fact that if someone has a few more drinks or a little bit more weed,
they're a little bit more relaxed and not as nervous.
They're much more apt to have an in-person conversation with you.
No, I'm not saying that, but even from my end of the ball game, what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to make a move on somebody, that's not an easy thing to do, or even ask somebody out on a date. Sometimes some people they're scared by doing stuff like that. Me personally, I don't care if 99 out of 100 say no. I really don't give a crap. But I'm just saying.
Well, it's a numbers game at that point.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying. Even if you drink a little bit, have a drink or two, or maybe if you smoke a little bit, have an edible, I think you might find it a little easier and you might not have as much anxiety. Or as our friend in Kentucky says, the woman who called two other African Americans the N-word and said,
Nancy Goodman?
Yes, I have anxiety. That's why I called them the N-word. I've got anxiety.
That gets better every time you do it. I want you to do it at least twice a week from now on moving forward.
It was the woman in North Carolina, Johnny just set me straight there, that went into a restaurant. And because she thought two African-American women were loud, she called them the N-word. And then when she was interviewed about that, the next day she blamed anxiety. And I'm telling you, that's my impersonation of her. I called them the N-word because I have anxiety. They made me do it. Those black people made me do it because I've got anxiety. I'm sorry. That's my impersonation. I can't help myself with that one. That woman is just the epitome of disgustingness in society. Is that even a word, disgustingness? Maybe I'm high right now. I don't know. But yes, anybody who calls somebody the N-word for any reason is an ignoramus and a racist. But especially this woman who doubled down on it the next day and said it was her anxiety that caused her to call people the N-word. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
Do you think that because Donald Trump doubles down that she decided to double down? Is there a connection there? Is there a correlation
I
there?
double down on 10s and 11s versus a 4, 5, or 6 at the blackjack table.
Right.
Trust me, that's got nothing to do with Donald Trump.
So Trump's Twitter rhetoric does not make you double down on the blackjack table?
It doesn't make me double. Listen, there's nothing Donald Trump ever has done in his life. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. I might dye my skin and my hair orange. I might do that thanks to Donald Trump. But other than that, and I do eat at KFC like Donald Trump does. I do have his diet. And eventually when I get to his age, hopefully, I'm sure I will have an unbelievable physique just like him because make no mistake about it, Donald Trump should be on the front of Fitness Magazine. And by the way, he's the one that is insulting other obese people when he is obese.
Fitness Magazine or 74-year-old Fitness Magazine because the guy is 74 years old.
I don't know. I'm not going to go there.
You always say he's very out of shape.
He's disgusting.
He is, but he's
disgusting.
Again, he's also a senior citizen by 7 or 8 years.
He's disgusting. He's got an.
It's really hard to be in shape at that age.
His face looks like an orange with a wig.
Oh, he definitely chooses to spray tan, but that's his decision.
He has man boobs. He is disgusting in every sense of the word.
I would guess that 95% of men age 70 and above have man boobs, Brian.
I disagree with you. That's an excuse. I disagree. What are you saying? The most people over 70 have man boobs?
I'm saying men, as they age, their testosterone goes down, their muscle mass goes down. That's a proven fact.
I don't know what you're talking about. My testosterone keeps going up every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're also 39.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have more testosterone now than I did when I was 18.
With pills. In 35
not
years.
True. That's not true.
In 35 years.
That's not true. It's not true.
35 years, your testosterone will continue to drop. Your muscle mass will continue to drop. And, if you're not physically active, there is a chance that you'll have man boobs. In fact, there's a much higher chance at 74 than you were at 39. Or me at 33 for
I'm a little worried about you because you're talking like someone that is generating estrogen. I'm a little worried about what you're saying right now. The number to call, by the way, 257-5396 if you want to be a part of this conversation. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Michael. Michael, what's going on?
What's up, Michael?
I don't know. I'm vertical. That helps.
Hey, congrats on that.
Yeah, I know. Half a battle. Just a couple things I'm going to touch on. I understand your despise towards Donald Trump and everything like that, and I'm not saying I like him or anything like that. But going the body shaming route, that's going a little low.
Okay, well, Michael, hold on. Michael, here's why I did that. Do you know that he made fun of somebody that was obese at one of his rallies the other day? Would you call that low?
Absolutely, but two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree. In some cases, I agree 2 wrongs do not make a right. But guess what? I'm not the president of the United States. He is. He's supposed to set an example. Listen, make no mistake about it. As a radio show host, I am not setting an example for anybody. These are my own opinions. I'm just being honest. When you're the president of the United States.
No, I appreciate that. I respect it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're the president of the United States and you make fun of an obese person and saying he's got a food problem, and by the way, when that person turns out to be a Trump supporter, it makes, if you're fat and you're making fun of fat people, there's something wrong with you, and I think you deserve to be called out for it. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same thing like we're talking on the race subject about the N-word, which is totally unacceptable. And what I find offensive and irritating is nowadays you have African Americans calling each other the N-word, and so much so that I had like an altercation with one.
Right.
I'm a retired cop and a disabled veteran, but I had an altercation with one where he was saying, "Well, I'll use ninja." He was like, "What's up, ninja?" You know, and I'm like,
"Yeah,
dude, do you not respect your heritage or know what you went through?"
That's a good point.
Well, especially if what if you're a 16-year-old kid and you see 5 or 6 African Americans using that word to address each other, and you're Caucasian, you don't know that it's wrong.
Michael, first of all, let me say
you're 16.
First of all, Michael, let me say thank you so much for your service and being a hero, number one. And number two, I could not agree with you more. I don't care if it ends in an ER or an AR. If you don't want other people to use that word, don't use it yourself. And the excuse I always get is, well, it's our word. What do you mean it's your word? It shouldn't be anybody's word. It's a horrible word.
The vocabulary.
Yes, it should not be in the vocabulary at all. And I think people who make that defense, it's ridiculous.
This isn't 1850 Birmingham, Alabama. This is 2019, the United States of America, where we are all Americans.
The problem with people that say the word, if you have young kids in school that hear the word that are white, they're might think it's okay to use the word.
Exactly. They'll have a hard time discerning, and I'm glad you brought that point up, Michael.
It sets a horrible example. Michael, thank you so much for the call and your service. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Real quick, Brad, may I comment on one last thing?
Sure.
It'll be really quick. Okay, so the cop in New York who used the chokehold.
Yes.
What I want to get across to people is that, your 29-year veteran retired cop had it right. Once you say you're under arrest, you're done. But when it comes to going hands-on and continual force, there's a lot of moving parts. So you can't just say, hey, well, he does A, I'm going to do B, if he does C. No, it may go A to Z or A to W, and sometimes it just depends on how you get in there. And sometimes the applying a choke works, but there's 2 types of choke. There's a blood choke and an air choke.
Right.
He probably did the air choke, which wasn't good. But, again, it's just all comply. Just comply. The officer's not there to fight you. You're not in a cage,
Right.
One or two things are going to happen. You're going to get released or you're going to go to jail. Either way.
Yeah, and again, the background on this guy is he was arrested 30 times. He was not complying.
Yeah.
In fact, he resisted arrest. And if they weren't going to use a chokehold, they could have tased him. They would have been in the legal right to tase him. A guy that's got heart problems, that got asthma, guess what? He probably wouldn't have survived that. In no way, shape, or form do I defend what that one officer did. But let's not make Eric Garner out to be a hero here. He did not comply, and he resisted. Michael, thank you for bringing that up. We appreciate it.
I want to touch subject real quick on the taser.
Okay.
There's things, now, the taser does not always work. If the subject is obese, the electricity current doesn't travel so well. So he can defend that. Also, if he's wearing heavier bagging clothing, again, the taser don't work. So it's all, again, moving parts. You have to assess the scene. And the cop has fractions of a second to do that. And so the taser probably wouldn't have been able to be applied.
Well, you know what? I will apply that to The Hangover when Galifianakis was tasered. It didn't work the first time. It took a couple shots. So not to make a joke of that situation, but
No,
you are right. You are right. The taser does not always work. Michael, we appreciate your perspective. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Yeah. Why don't we take a quick break? We'll be back right after this. We'll take more of your calls on the GCI Guys hotline, which is 257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of our conversation, 702-257-5396. We'll take your calls. And also, when we come back, you're not going to believe what one local bar owner did in regards to, I shouldn't say one local bar owner, an Irish bar owner did in regards to, well, it's an MMA fighter. It has to do with an MMA fighter and why he threw away a specific kind of liquor. We'll explain coming back. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.